Hi, I'm Mike Kuchar, Senior Research Manager at xnolabs.com. At XNO Labs, we pride ourselves in providing fact-based research, okay, not opinion-based. We take the surveys that you concoct, that you compile, that you generate your data from, and we take those and we break them down into research to finding out what coaches do best and why they do what they do. Today we're going to focus on offensive line play, both in the run game and in the pass game. We're fortunate enough to have XNO Labs line instructor Rich Alercio, with over 24 years of coaching experience, both at the collegiate and high school level, talk to us about what it takes to be a dominant offensive lineman. We all know it starts up front with the Hogs, and it's important that we understand that everything starts and finishes with those guys up front. So we're going to take you through in this presentation the run steps that's necessary for your offensive line to be successful, and exactly how is the best way to train them to be dominant offensive linemen. So without further ado, let's talk with Coach Alercio.
Hi, I'm Rich Alercio, offensive line coach for XNO Labs. Here with me today are number 70, Connor, and number 78, Moss. We're going to get Connor and Moss down into our three-point stance. We're going to start off right off the bat by getting them lined up right on these white lines with toes on the line. We are not going to be in a staggered stance in our three-point stance because we believe we get better balance with our feet even on the line and give ourselves greater ability to be able to access right and left steps with exactly the same distances. When we get these guys down in their stances, we're going to line them up, all of our offensive linemen, like a bunch of bird dogs. So we call this drill bird dogs stance. All right, guys, let's start off first by getting our toes on the line. Our toes can be slightly out. We're not going to be directly in line, and we're certainly not going to point them in like pigeon toes. All right, we're going to have our knees slightly inside our foot. We're not going to talk about getting our feet armpit or width apart, because kids, especially at the high school level, have such varying sizes and widths of their shoulders. We're going to talk about getting the knees directly over the inside foot to be able to get the width of our stance. From there, we're going to have these guys squat down to be able to get their knees over their big toes, knees over big toes. To be able to put their hand down, and right now they're going to both work with dominant hand. We're going to take the dominant hand and we're going to take all 5 finger pads and put them directly down onto the ground. Guys, get your hands right down onto the ground. Now we're going to look over to this side to be able to look at Connor, to be able to understand where the hand should be placed, how far out or how far back. The measuring point is going to be this. When the hand is down, the thumbnail should be directly under the dominant eye. He's got his right hand down. If his right eye were to fall out of the socket, it would bounce directly under that thumbnail. That would indicate that the hand is in proper position left to right and in proper position going away from the line of scrimmage. Not too far forward, not too far back. Good. Now we're going to focus on the other hand. When we have Connor's other hand, we don't want this hand in a position where he's resting on his thigh. We want this hand in a position that it's going to be ready to strike the defensive player. So we're going to have the hand on the side of the knee. The thumb should be over the top of the knee, and the arm should be perfectly aligned. This arm should not be hanging out to the side. Connor had it just perfectly. Good. Now we're going to make sure that we have ourselves in a position where we can see slightly up. Good. So our backs don't necessarily have to be flat. It's okay for our butts to be down a little bit, so a downward slope is just fine. Good. Now the drill that we do in this next is called a hand lift. All we're going to do now from this stance is take our hands, guys, and lift them off to the side without rocking anything. Put them back down again. Don't move any body part. Just take your hand and lift it out to the side. Good. Now, if they're able to do this without falling forward, they have good body position. Perhaps just slightly, you may have to see that their toes may have to offset a little bit of that weight. Let's do it one more time. Hand lift from bird dogs. Go. And put them back down again. Those are how we get our guys into a three-point stance and check their stances. We've got Connor and Moss back in their bird dog positions to now work on taking the first step in a run step. We're not going to talk about the distance of the first step in inches, 6 inches or 8 inches. the vertical distance of the first step is going to be measured in the length of the foot. Kids with longer feet will take bigger steps. Kids with shorter feet will take shorter steps. We start with our toe on the line and measure the distance by making sure that after the first step occurs, our heel is on the line. Guys, get down into your stances for us. When we look over onto the side, when Connor gets down into a three-point stance, he creates an acute angle in the ankle, the knee, and the hip. Those angles are often referred to in offensive line terms as power angles. We're creating a Z in the knee, which creates power angles. After we take the first step, we want to ensure that we maintain those power angles. All right, get up for a second, guys, and get your legs to rest. The other thing that we want to do when we take that first step is we want to drive our elbows backward and bring our hands back to our chest, to put our hands in a position to be able to strike the defensive lineman on the second step. When we drive our hands back, we're also going to create an acute power angle in the elbow. Right now, guys, let's get back down into our stances. On set, go, we're going to take one step with our left foot, a vertical drive step with our left foot, and we're going to cock our hands back and freeze in that position. Set, go. Good. After we take that step, if the heel is still on the line, we know the step was not too far. We should also still have our knee over our big toe as we did in our stance. That maintains a power angle, an acute angle in the ankle, knee, and the hip. We're going to drive the elbows back, making a power angle here. We've done it on both sides. We're also going to take a look that when we are done with this, we have in line our shoulder over our hand, over our knee, over our big toe. Shoulder over hand, over knee, over big toe. Everything is back in line when we cock everything back. Okay, let's go back into our stances again. Let's do one step. We'll do a vertical drive step with our left foot and cock our hands back. Set, go. Good. Let's come back again. Let's do it again. Let's do it with our right foot this time. Vertical drive step with our right foot and cock our hands back. Set, go. Good. Let's measure the step again, making sure that the heel is on the line, the knee is over the big toe, and when we look down, it's shoulder over hand, over knee, over toe, everything in one line. These hands could probably be a little bit wider so they're not so tight and have the ability to strike on opposite chest plate. Let's bring that foot back in a little bit. Probably we don't want any right now, we don't want any lateral displacement in this step. Good, stand up, guys. That's how we execute a first step. That's how we measure and check. And the coaching points of the first step are to make sure that the power angles that are created in our stance are kept in our stance. We would never want to step further than the toe and lose the power angle in our ankle and our knee by overstepping on that first step. Okay, we've added one more offensive lineman to the group into our bird dog lines as we execute our 5 run steps now in bird dogs. Number 54 is Edwin. So now Connor, Moss, and Edwin are all going to get back up, lined up like bird dogs with their toes on the line to get back in their three-point stances. We're going to take 5 different run steps. We're going to start off with what we call a base step. A base step is a vertical drive step. It is a forward step, heel replacing toe on the line. It's the same one we did in the last segment. The term for it is a base step. When we go with that, there is no lateral displacement to either side. We are going to take one step forward, replace heels on the line. We're going to put our chest over our hands, over our knees, over our toes. We're going to freeze on the finish to check ourselves. We're going to come back, and then we're going to do a base left, one step and cock. Guys, get down into your three-point stance. On set, go, we're going to take one base right step, cock our hands, and freeze on the finish. Set, go. Good. Okay, hang on a second. Let's make sure that we have Edwin's hands back here. Again, a little bit too big of a step, Edwin. Let's bring that's better so that our heel's on the line, our hands are in, and everything's in line with each other. Good. Come on back. Let's do base left, one step, cock. Set, go. Good. Hands a little bit tighter again by your chest. Good. Stand up. This is the step that we're using. We have better leverage to the play than the guy we're blocking. In other words, if we're going to use a base right step, it's generally because we have a guy on our left side and the play is going to the right. Now we're going to do a reach right step. We're going to do a reach right, same vertical step, but we're also going to incorporate lateral displacement. This would be a block when a guy has leverage. In other words, the play is going to the right and Edwin has a guy on his right. We're going to take a lateral displacement step but still stay in a vertical drive block. We are still going to check as we gain ground vertically and laterally that our heel's on the line and we have chest over hand, over knee, over big toe. We'll freeze, come back, and then do a reach left. So guys, let's go reach right on one step. Here we go. Set. Go. Good. And let's check ourselves. Heels are on the line. Good. Chest are over hands, over knees, over toe. Great. We're in good position. Come on back up again. Now let's go reach left. Set. Go. Good. Freezing on the finish. Checking again. Heels on the line. Knee over toe. Chest over hand, over knee, over toe. Probably get that up a little bit higher. Good. Just like that. Chest over hand, over knee, over toe. Bring it back. Okay. Base and reach are vertical drive block steps. They are one-on-one covered blocks against a guy that you're going to try to drive vertically. The next two steps are steps that we're going to take when we're going to block a guy when we're uncovered and we're going to block a guy on a covered man next to us. The first one is an angle step. The angle step is a 45-degree angle step, an aggressive step. We'll start again with our toes on the line on our bird dog lines, and we're going to now turn at a 45-degree angle with our foot and our shoulders in that direction. We're still going to make sure we finish. Chest over hand, or knee over toe, and that our heel is on the line. Let's execute an angle right block, angle right, one-step cock. Here we go. Set. Go. Good. Again, hands just a little bit higher by our chest. Good. Good. Come on back. Now let's do an angle left block. Angle left, one-step cock. Here we go. Set. Go. Good. Again, heel on the line, chest over hand, over knee, over toe. Come on back up again. All right, now we're going to do another 45-degree angle block. Again, an uncovered block to a covered man next to us. But now we'll do this one as if we're blocking back, out, or down by ourselves in a solo block. Okay? We are going to now put our heels on the line in our bird dog lines. Guys, move up with me and put our heels on the line. When we do this step is called a bucket step. On the bucket step, we're going to drop our toes back. We're not going to shift our body weight back. We're just going to drop our toes back. We are still going to make sure that we have knee, chest over hand, over knee, over toe. So we have forward movement with our hand and body, just backward position with our foot to gain leverage on the block. Here we go. Let's execute a bucket right, one-step cock. Set. Go. Good. Again, both hands back again. Good. All right, let's get back. Heels on the line. And let's go bucket left, one-step cock. Set. Go. Okay, good. Dropping back. Not so much, though. Let's move that foot back up again. Not so much, though, that the toe clears it. We don't want to drop that much. We only want to drop enough that the toe replaces the heel on the line. Let's come back and do that one again. Just open up the foot enough that the toe is on line. We're just opening up our hips to be able to give ourselves good position on the block. We don't want to step backwards. Don't think about the bucket step as a backward step. Think about it as a step that allows us to open our hips. Let's do it again. Bucket left, one step, cock. Set. Go. Good, much better. Think about opening up our hips to the block. Okay, the last one is a pull step. Now, we're not going to cock our arms on the pull step because we're not going to initially block anybody. We're not going to block a defensive lineman on us or next to us. We're going to put our heels on the line, and we're going to turn our toes to a 45-degree angle. Now, what we'll emphasize, we're not going to talk about on pull right with our toes at 90 degrees. We're not going to talk about driving same elbow, same foot. We're going to talk about opposite hand. We're going to talk about driving the opposite hand across for two reasons. One, we want to propel ourselves into the pull with the backside hand. We don't want to propel ourselves backwards by opening the gate, as it used to be said. We also want to emphasize opposite hand, opposite foot. When we walk, we want to be opposite hand, opposite foot. So we're not going to talk about that foot and that arm together. If we're pulling to the right, we're going to thrust the left hand in the direction of the pull. So right now, heels are on the line. We're going to do one step, pull right, and we're going to throw the backside hand across our chest. So we're throwing our hand and our toes in that direction. Let's go pull right, one step, and freeze. Sit. Go. Good. And let's come back, and let's go pull left, one step, freeze. Sit. Go. Good. All right, and driving the hand across in the direction that we're going. Good. All right, let's come back now and get our toes back on the line again. Now we're going to advance into two steps. Anytime we block a defensive lineman, a first-level defensive player, we want to make contact with that player on the second step. It allows us to gain momentum into the block, but we don't have enough time to take any more than two steps. So the goal always is 2 steps before contact. On the first step we've just executed, that we're going to cock our arms back. On the grounding of the second steps, we're going to punch the arms. On the first step, back, second step, punch. Okay, so now we're going to execute all of those steps, at least the first 4 for right now. The base, the reach, the angle, and the bucket. On the first step, we'll cock. On the second step, we'll punch. Guys, get toes back on the line. Let's do a base right, 2-step, cock, and punch. Set, go. Good. Come on back. All right. Now, the distance of the second step, and we'll look at the camera on the second one, and all of you guys did it very well. The distance of the second step is measured, not with the line any longer. The distance of the second step is measured that the heel of the second step never passes the toes of the first step. So after the first step goes and the second step punches, we'll freeze and measure that the heels of the second step needs to be further advanced of the first step, but not so far that the heel of this step is beyond the toe of that one. All right, so let's go back down and go. Let's go base left, 2-step, cock and punch. Let's freeze and check the distance. Set, go. Okay, freeze where you are. Again, taking a look at the side. The heel of the first step is on the line perfect. The heel of the second step is further than the first step, but it did not pass the toes of the first step. That's perfect. This one, Edwin, could be a little bit further. We needed to gain a little bit more ground on that second step. All right, come on back. Now we're going to do a 2-step reach. Reach right, 2-step, cock and punch. So we're going to gain some lateral displacement and some forward distance in our cock and punch. We're going to check that our right heel is on the line and that our left heel did not pass our right toes. Let's go reach right, 2-step, cock and punch. Set, go. Good. Right heel on the line, left heel didn't pass right toes. Good, come on back. Let's go reach left, 2-step, cock and punch. Set, go. Good. Slight lateral displacement. Make sure we're getting lateral displacement on the reach so our body's going in that direction. Good, come on back. All right, now we're going to do our 2 angular blocks. The first one is the aggressive one. Toes on the line, angle right at a 45-degree angle, angle right, 2-step, cock on 1, punch on 2. Again, the heel should be on the line, and the second step heel should not pass the first step's toes. Angle right, 2-step, cock and punch. Set, go. Good. Okay, real careful now, Edwin. On the punch, make sure we're not reaching back with our hands like a cowboy going for his shooters. Okay, we want to make sure that we keep our hands by our chest to keep acute angles in our elbows and to defend our chest against the thrust of the defensive player. Come on back. Let's go angle left, 2-step, cock and punch. Again, left heel should be on the line. Right heel should not be past left toes. Set, go. Good. Okay, come on back. Again, more of an angle when we're done. We're going to be at a 45-degree angle. On the angle in the bucket, our bodies should be at a vertical. On base and reach, we're going to stay vertical hips. On bucket and angle, we're going to stay with 45-degree angle hips. Okay? Let's get our heels on the line now. With our heels on the line, now we're going to do a bucket right, 2-step, cock and punch. Foot back, thrust forward. Again, heels don't pass toes. Bucket right, 2-step, cock and punch. Right toe should be on the line. Left heel shouldn't pass right toes. Set, go. Good. Come on back. Let's go bucket left now. Bucket left, 2-step, cock and punch. Opening our hips to gain position on a down block or a back block. Set, go. Good. Excellent job. Excellent job. Okay, now when we do the pull step, there are 2 different types of pulls that we execute. A flat pull where we pull down the line of scrimmage to kick out a first-level defender, a defensive end, or we have a lead pull where we'll pull around perhaps a double team to lead up to block a second level to player as in a linebacker. Okay, now when we do this now, we're never going to take a two-step cock and punch for our pulls because we're never going to block a guy right there. On all of these, we're just going to be able to pump our hands, take one out and pull one back again. So right now, all we're going to work on is the two steps of a pull and the pumping of our arms to get ourselves thrust into that direction. Let's go heels on the line. Let's go pull right, two steps. Set, go. Good. Now let's go back to heels on the line again, and let's go pull left, two steps. Set, go. Good. Those are our 5 run steps, guys. You can stand back up again and face in. Those are our 5 run steps. Base and reach are vertical drive steps. Angle and bucket are 45-degree angle steps, and a pull is used to run down the line of scrimmage behind the other offensive lineman, either in a flat pull or a lead pull. We do those with 1-step cock, and we do them with 2-step cock and punch to get the timing of our punch. Now we're going to focus on the actual run punch. And we're going to do this in a drill we call a shield punch. First, let's describe some of the details that we want in bringing the shield here. Moss, if you could just hold that shield for me. When we strike a shield first, when we strike a defender or a shield, we want to make sure that our thumbs are up and our elbows are in line with the punch. We want to make sure our thumbs are up and our fingers are in, so that when we strike the bag or we strike the defender's chest, our thumbs are upward. We also want to see that when we punch with our arms up at a 45-degree angle. We want to punch upward. We never ever in a run block want to punch away from ourselves and create escape distances for the defensive lineman. We want to thrust upward so that our arms are at a 45-degree angle from the ground and punch upward. In essence, driving the bag up towards his chin on contact. So we punch up, not out. Thumbs up, fingers in. The drill that we'll do to teach players how to punch upward is the shield punch drill. We're going to get Connor down with his knees on the white line and turning his back to the camera. Put your knees on the line. Good. We're going to get Moss to come over and hold the bag on a 45-degree angle and bring it up towards his face, not contacting there. Now, on set go, we're going to have Connor go from down here, and we're going to thrust the hands all the way up with thumbs up, fingers around the side of the bag, and our goal is to drive the bag upward into Moss's face and be able to extend our hips so that when we finish, the bag should be in Moss's face, and when we finish, our hips should be over our knees, so that we've brought our hips and narrowed the distance between the offensive player and the defensive player so that there's no place for an escape. Let's do 3 of them, but freeze on the finish. Set, go. Good. And freeze on, just freeze on so we can talk about it. Again, hips over knees to create less distance. Bend our arms a little bit afterwards. Good. And driving the bag up. Let's not extend all the way out. Good. Come on back and do it again. Let's snap to it. Set, go. Good, that's perfect. Strong hands inside, bent elbows here so we can move them in and out, and hips over knees. Let's do one more. Set, go. Good. Let's stop right there. That's perfect arm and body position. Good, let's switch sides and let Moss have a chance now. So we'll always, in our shield punch drill, allow for the other player to switch and get the same 3 shots in. Knees on the toes, sit back so the hips are back, over the calves or the ankles. Good, 45-degree angle. And again, we're going to thrust thumbs up, fingers wrapped around, driving the bag up to the face, but keeping bent elbows so that we're in a strong position, not overextended, which allows escape routes for defensive linemen. Here we go. Set. Good, good. Good strong arms. Good, slight bend in it. Squeezing the bag, thumbs up, hips over knees. Excellent. Let's do it again. Set. Go. Good, a little less straight. Yeah, bend them back a little bit. Good, good. Let's do it again. Set, go. Good, stand up, good. All right, that is the shield punch drill. And again, the point of emphasis in this is thumbs up, fingers in on the bag, and punching upward, never straightening our arms out. We do not want to create separation from defensive linemen in the run game because that creates the area for him to escape. We want to punch upward, keeping our elbows bent and driving our hips towards the defender to eat up the distance that would allow him to escape from the run block to make a play on a tackler. That is the shield punch drill to teach the punch to be up, not out. Now we're going to teach our bodies, working with the offensive linemen, how we are going to advance. Either whether we were going to climb up to a second level block on a linebacker, or work with somebody in a combination block, or the body position that we'll take with our body and our feet as we're drive blocking somebody downfield. We'll do this by teaching a power walk in a drill that we call chops and then chop chop. First, we're going to do chops, a slow step where we gain ground, making sure that at no point in time in the time that we do a power walk that we ever have our heels of one foot past the toe of the other foot. We're going to maintain our power angles in the distance of the walk. Maintain the power angle in the ankle, the knee, and the hip, as well as the elbow as we advance. We're going to start off by doing a base right step from a three-point stance, and then we'll just continue to move in those positions where heels never pass toes, and we maintain power angles, ankles, knees, and hips. Guys, get back down in your stance. We're going to do base right chops up to the cone. Stop, we'll turn around there and do a base left coming back. Set, go. Good, stop right there and bring it back. Again, and point of emphasis is heels never pass toes so that we make sure we have power angles at all times, and we always, always, always have our feet underneath our power base. All right, now let's go back doing the same thing. Base left chops. Stay low and be slow. Set, go. Good, stop right there. Again, though, let's make sure that as we do these with different steps that we're taking this right step. Edwin, we were base left on that one. I believe you step with your right foot. Okay, now let's go to the next one. This would be chop chop. It's a double time of the same drill. We're going to do the same drill. We're going to incorporate a reach right into it, though, so we get lateral displacement, but we're going to double time the steps, and we're going to pound our feet down as we advance up to the cone, making sure, again, heels never pass toes. Maintain power angles, ankles, knees, hips, elbows. Reach right to gain some lateral displacement, but let's not go outside too wide. Let's come back over here a little bit, Edwin and Moss. Let's do a reach right, chop chop. Set, go. Pound your feet down and fast. Pound your feet down and fast. Excellent. Good, good, good. All right, let's get back over again, and let's do a reach left. Edwin, let's have you come over to the other side of the cone, please. Moss, come down a little bit so you don't come out of the screen. Good. Let's do a reach. Come on, let's get a little bit tighter. Let's get a little bit tighter. Good. Let's go reach left, chop chop. Set, go. Good, good, good. Okay, good. This is how we train our bodies to be able to move like offensive linemen. Heels never passing toes to guarantee our feet stay underneath our power base and that we maintain power angles at all times, whether we're climbing to a second level defender or whether we're engaged in a block to be able to keep our power base underneath our block.